for the FIA's 2021 Champions Press Conference. We have 8 groups coming your way, and a little bit of housekeeping before we start. I will ask a few questions at the top, at the start of each group, and then if media then want to ask a question, please put your hand up. I'll come to people in the room here at the Louvre first, and then we'll come to anyone joining virtually via Zoom. So, let's crack on with our first group, and I'm delighted now to welcome our world champion karters. Representing the KZ, we have Noah Millell, who is the gentleman furthest from me. Then we have our OK champion, Tuukka Taponen. And then closest to me here is our junior champion, Keen Nakamura Berta. Well done to all three of you. You've had fantastic seasons. Noah, let's come to you first. First of all, what does it mean to win the World Championships?
Wow, it's I cannot describe the words you're feeling after you win a race like this. And I was able to win in my home city, in my country, where my family and all my supporters were. So this was a perfect weekend.
I guess that made it extra special. Talk us through the final.
Yeah, so I started second, and Vigano was on first. And I had, in my opinion, a very, very good start. So I took the lead from the first lap, from the start. And then I could just increase the gap and had the best lap of the race also in the final.
And Noah, I saw some footage of you getting quite emotional straight afterwards.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you work for so long for one goal to win something big, and then when you finally achieve it, you're crying out the emotions with both happy and. Like you put a lot of effort and time into this. And
Noah, what's next? What are your plans for 2022?
It's not like 100%, but I think I will stick one more year in karting in the KZ class.
And then what comes next? Formula 4? You're going to go to single-seaters?
Yeah, that will be very nice, but at the moment I don't have any plans for that.
Well, look, good luck with whatever comes next, Noah, and well done for that fantastic win at home in Sweden. Now, Tuukka, let's come to you next. You were racing in Spain, and for the 3rd consecutive year, it was rain-affected. Talk us through the final.
Yeah, I started 5th, and at the beginning, speed wasn't perfect, but end of the race, it was something amazing, and then I won the world champion.
And what about the weather? How tricky is that track in the dry, let alone in the wet?
Yeah, at the beginning there was a bit more wet on the track, but in the end the track was more drier, and yeah.
And do you know what, Tuukka, you've had a stunning season, because not only are you the OK champion, but you also won the Finnish championships as well. How will you reflect on 2021?
Yeah, I won Finnish champion. It wasn't so difficult, but yeah, we worked really hard for the main race, what was the world champion, and we got really good speed all the week, and
you did really well.
Yeah.
Now, Tuukka, what is next for you? I know that you've tested a Formula 4 car already. Is that the plan? Is that the next step?
No, I will stay one more year in karting, and hopefully with Tony Kart. And 2023 is planned to go single-seater.
2023 single-seaters. And then I looked at your website, Tuukka, and it says you're going to be in Formula 1 in 2029. It's all mapped out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's our plan, but we see.
All right, well, look, good luck with what comes next, and well done on a sensational 2021. Now, Keen, let's come to you. You were also racing in the wet in Spain. How tricky did you find it?
The track was it was a new track for everyone. Even in the dry, it was a hard track. The wet was fun to drive, but it was also very tricky. We all had our different lines, and yeah.
And tell us about, you had a great dice with Freddie Slater, didn't you, in the final? Yeah. He then got a penalty, but just talk us through what happened.
I started P9 for the final. I managed a good start from the 5th row. Managed to get through to P4 on the first lap. After that, Freddie made a gap from the start. Made quite a big gap. I didn't have as much pace as he did, so he slowly stretched the gap. I just tried to keep up with him, and then after the race, he got handed a penalty, which gave me the win.
It's fantastic. The biggest win of your career so far. What's the plan going forward for you?
Hopefully doing seniors next year, and from there, I don't know.
So, Keen, you're 14, aren't you?
Yes.
Just turned 14, you told me a minute ago. Give us an indication of how much mileage you're getting now. How much testing, how much racing?
We do a lot of racing during the year, as well as a lot of practices, loads of laps. Don't know the numbers, but yeah, we do lots of laps on the track.
Are you racing most weekends?
Once the season starts, it's basically every weekend. So, yeah, we've got loads of laps, loads of races.
Well, it's fantastic, isn't it? It's all, what do they say? Miles maketh the maestro, don't they? Well done to you as well, Keen. Tuka, coming back to you, Formula 4. I know you said you're doing another year in karting. Tell us a little bit about your first experiences in that single-seater. The first step, if you like, on the FIA's ladder to Formula 1.
Yeah, first step was in Finland. I did a couple of test days, and before that I prepared a lot with simulator.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, of course.
Now, I did want to ask you one more question. End of an era in Formula 1. Kimi Räikkönen is leaving, isn't he? He's retiring. Is Kimi a bit of a hero?
Yeah, it is.
He's had the most wonderful career, isn't he?
Yeah, he had a nice career, and now he is going to keep a holiday.
Good. And Noah, coming back to you now. More karting for you next year. What's the plan thereafter, after that?
I'm not sure really, because I am 21 now, so I'm a bit older to start F4 or something like that. So maybe some GT cars would be nice to go into, or yeah.
Good. And Noah, who are you most looking forward to seeing tonight? Because all of your racing heroes are going to be here, I suppose.
Yeah, I think Max, obviously, with after everything, and also another Swedish Kristoffersson, Johan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Johan's got a busy schedule. He's racing Extreme E in England at the minute, but he's coming in specially for the award ceremony tonight. Well, it's wonderful to have our karters here. I'm going to open this to the floor now. Just trying to see through the lights. Do we have any questions from the floor? Yes. Patricia, we have one question over here. Dieter Renkin, Racing Lines.
Thank you. To all three of you, obviously today you'll be sharing the stage with Max, a world champion Formula 1, who started off in karting as you did. How have you sort of mapped out your careers to try and get there? Because that's obviously got to be the ultimate target for you.
Thank you, Dieter. So, guys, what's the map, the career map to get to Formula 1 and to win the championship like Max Verstappen? Noah, we just touched on it a little bit with you. Tuka, let's come back to you.
To go slowly and step by step, not too fast, because if you are not ready to, for example, F3, it will stop. So go slowly and make always good preparation for the next year.
But do you see it as Formula 4, Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1?
Yeah, maybe a couple of years, Formula 3 and Formula 2, but we see.
Well done. And Keen, what's the plan? What's the roadmap?
I feel like, as Tuka said, nice and slow, steady, but I also feel that you should clear a stage every time. So, for example, Formula 4 champion, Formula 3 like podium champion, and slowly from there you just keep going up. So
Keep winning.
yeah.
Keep winning. That's the plan, isn't it? We've run out of time, so I just want to say many congratulations once again to our karters, ladies and gentlemen. Well done to all three of you. Okay, well done. Thank you. Next up, we're going to be talking FIA World Rallycross and our champion in 2021, Johan Kristoffersen. Now, unfortunately, Johan can't be with us this evening because he is competing in the Extreme E event in the UK. I believe he is going to come later to get his prize, but unfortunately he can't make it to the press conference in time. I did manage to catch up with him via video link last week, and so this is what he had to say about his fantastic season. It's a very warm welcome to the 2021 FIA World Rallycross champion, Johan Kristoffersen. Johan, where are you?
I am in Sweden, close to my hometown. At the moment, it's minus 15, so I'm hiding to catch some heat in one of the cars here, actually.
Well, look, we're very sad not to have you with us tonight, but What an incredible season it's been for you, this being your 4th world title. But you had to fight hard for this one, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a fight to win a championship. But, I mean, this one started off very difficult in the beginning of the year. We had 4 opening rounds, which was more or less terrible for us. We catch some points, but definitely didn't go our way. And from there on, it was a big fight back until the end of the race, and in the end of the season, and in the end of the final laps of the year in the championship. So equal on points with Timmy and winning on comeback of victories. I mean, that's just an incredible end of the season.
It doesn't get closer than that, does it? Tell us a little bit more about the opening rounds of the season, because, of course, you were in the Audi this year, whereas your previous success has been in the Polo. How long did it take you just to get your head around the car, and how different was it to the Polo?
Yeah, I mean, it always takes a little bit of time of learning the new tricks of a new car. But when you race yourself, when you drive the car yourself on track, it's more or less you find your way pretty quickly. And rallycross is all about adapt as quick as possible to the certain condition that is on track, which is often changing very fast. So, I mean, when I drove myself, it didn't take too long time. But when you get then into racing against other cars, sometimes I think in the beginning of the season we were disqualified because we did a mistake on the FIA logger. It wasn't connected, and then we got on back foot on the first race. Second race I did a mistake. I got a double puncture, didn't reach the final. It was so many things happening, and then we had the drive shaft broken in the semi-final in the 3rd round. 4th round, I started from pole, had a tangle spun. So it was a lot of things that was race incidents in the end, but it just didn't give us any points. So and also I think me as a driver and some of the engineers, we were trying to focusing on solving some of the weaknesses on the car. But I think what we learned during the year was that I, as a driver, also had to rely more and use the strengths of the car instead of trying to fix the weak parts. So because it's always a compromise. I mean, every car is different, and none of them is absolutely perfect in the eyes of a racing driver. So, but yeah, I think. For the end of the season, we had the margins on our side, and sometimes you also deserve your luck. And in the end, we work hard through the whole season. I mean, some of the mechanics after some of the race weekends, I think, had their absolute lowest point in motorsport ever, and then being able, couple of races, couple of months after, coming back and maybe giving them their highest point in motorsport ever. That's how beautiful sport is, and that's why we are here. I mean, it's a tough side when you are on the bad side, but it's so beautiful when on the right side. So but that's what all of us, which is within motorsport, is looking for. I mean, we want that thrill. So it was definitely a thriller this year.
You mentioned the strengths of the car. What were they?
I think, the Polo for sure, was an extremely strong car, and it was a strong car on all the different surfaces. Maybe not the strongest car on one particular surface, but the overall was extremely good. And that's very important in rallycross. I think the Audi is the best rallycross car I ever driven on high grip track. So it was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable how good the car was when it was dialed in on a high grip track. It was like driving to a shopping store when you just the cars in your rear mirror just became smaller and smaller and smaller, and you were just smiling. Unfortunately, 2 of those races were when we had some technical issues, so we couldn't capitalize on those points. But then we fight hard, and we had some luck on our side in the end of the season. So that's, I think, why we was managing to win in the end.
I think you're very much belittling your performance behind the wheel when you say it's like driving to the shopping mall. But how good a job do you think you have done it? Of your 4 championships, where does this one rate?
It's always difficult. It's a privileged question to answer when you have a few to choose in between. But I mean, the first one is always the first one. That's just incredible. I mean, the instant happiness when you cross the finish line as the first time world champion is something that is very difficult to compare with. But and I mean, of course, I won the other 3 championships with one car, and being able with a new team, with a new car, with very limited amount of testing, everything came along extremely late. Everything, started as late as April. The 1st of April, Ekström posted a Instagram post that I will race for him, and it was just the 1st of April joke, and that was the kickoff. That was the start of the discussions, and in the end I were there, and now we are here winning. So for sure this is rating very high in terms of that. In terms of driving myself, I think 2018 winning 11 out of 12 races in the World Championship must be maybe my highest. It's the one that I enjoy the most, I think.
It was such a good rivalry with Timmy Hansen this year. I think just it would be nice to get a few words from you on him and how well he drove this year and the kind of rival he was for you.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Team Hansen is extremely strong. I don't know how many team championships they won now. So they are an extremely strong team together with their father, and also with Timmy's brother Kevin racing together. So it is extremely tough opponents to have to race against them, but also Timmy. I mean, I raced against Timmy since first time 2012 or 13, I think. And I know Timmy since many years, as our fathers raced together back in the days as well. So Timmy is the kind of guy that is not the loudest one when he's outside of the car, and he's very polite and well raced. But when he gets into the car, Timmy is he doesn't fear anything. He will do whatever it takes to win, and that's what I like with Timmy. Because when we are in the car, we are the absolute fierce rivals. But when we step out of the car, we keep that in the car, and then we can talk family life when we get outside of the car, and that's really nice. And he is when Timmy has his day, when everything is on his side and he has a good day, he is extremely precise and very good rallycross driver. So yeah. Of course, it's always good to finish on the equal points, but definitely it's always feels good also to be able to beat such a good driver.
I'd like to ask you now about one of the most skillful moments of the year, and I'm talking across any championship. I want to take you back to France, that first corner when you got a bit of a nudge from behind. How did you save that slide?
It was an extremely important start because it was Q1, and the first qualifying is extremely important start of the weekend. So I knew I had to nail that start. I dropped the clutch and I looked right, and I saw that I had a little bit better start than the others. Not completely clear, but so I knew when I turned in that I might get a little bit of a nudge here, and it might be some sideways action. It was a bit more than I expected. And I actually didn't have the time to shift down either. So I had to clutch and shift down through the slide at full lock stop with absolutely flat out on the throttle. But I just managed to get it back. But 1 second after that, I tried to forget about that. And then I was more worried about that my tires was overheating because of that slide. So from there on, I tried to cool down the tires for half a lap, and then it was just flat out to the finish.
It was an amazing moment. Well, Johan, it's been a quite incredible season for you. Many congratulations. Just before you go, what are the plans for next year, 2022?
I think I've raced in a lot of different championships, but I would like to keep winning if it's possible. Where, I don't know at the moment, but I will try to find a place where I will be able to fight for victories. But it's a little bit too early to say at the moment. I will look on a few different calendars and a few different options, and hopefully see you guys next year again.
Well, best of luck with whatever comes next. Thank you, Johan Kristoffersson, the 2021 FIA World Rallycross Champion. Let's move back to some single-seaters now, and we're going to be discussing the FIA Formula 3 Championship and Formula 2. First up, I would like to invite the FIA Formula 2 champion to the stage. Oscar Piastri, ladies and gentlemen, fresh from testing in Abu Dhabi for Alpine. Oscar, great to have you with us. I want to hear all about the test as well. But before we come to Oscar, we're going to another pre-record very quickly because Dennis Hauger, FIA Formula 3 champion, can't be with us in Paris this evening because he's testing in Abu Dhabi, probably your old car. Let's go straight into that now. I managed to catch up with Dennis in Abu Dhabi last weekend. Where are you? What are you doing?
I'm in Abu Dhabi right now, watching the races obviously, and then after having a test in F2. So yeah, enjoying a bit of observing on the sideline at the moment, but yeah, it's good.
And getting ready for next year, no doubt. But let's throw it back to this Formula 3 season. Such a fabulous job by you all season. What does this FIA Formula 3 Championship mean to you?
Everything, obviously. Worked really hard with the team all season to make it happen, and it's been the goal. And yeah, it's a good step on the way. Obviously, a goal and something we achieved, and just have to take that with me and obviously keep working forward. But a nice feeling, that's for sure.
You took 4 wins, 3 of them in feature races. Come on, which was the highlight?
Probably the one that wasn't a feature race, starting P12, going into P1 in race 1 or 2, I can't remember, in Rebel Ring, was quite a fun one. And yeah, obviously, I think the feature race that meant the most was Sandwort, coming from Spa, struggling a bit, and then coming back to win was a really good feeling. And yeah, there were some good moments with Prema this year, that's for sure.
And was that the moment in Zandvoort where you thought, yes, I can win this title, it's game on?
Yeah, I mean, after Spa we struggled a bit, but I knew we just had to get back up to rhythm, and we worked hard over that weekend to come back, and yeah, was a really good feeling to then come into the last round with confidence, obviously, and push it. So yeah, that was a confidence boost heading into the last bit of the season.
So Dennis, that's it in Formula 3 for you now. How much have you enjoyed the cars? How much have you enjoyed racing in the series?
Definitely a lot. It's been a lot of fighting and racing, and I think a lot of clean fighting, and it's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed it out there, that's for sure. And yeah, obviously a few ups and downs during the season, but that's always how it is. But yeah, it's been one of the more fun and enjoyable seasons of my career, I would say.
Well, Dennis, you drove fantastically throughout. Many congratulations from all of us.
Thank you.
So yes, huge congratulations to Dennis Hauger. But let's move on to Formula 2. Our champion is here in the room. What an incredible season, Oscar. How much do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was a great season. I think probably the best season of my career thus far. So, yeah, I mean, motorsport's always enjoyable when you're winning, and we did quite a bit of that this year. So, yeah, very good year.
You did a lot of winning, 6 wins. Which was the most impressive? Which one sticks in the memory?
I think for me the most exciting one was the first win I had in Bahrain. Coming back with a late safety car, we switched onto the soft tyres and came back through the field and won on the last lap, which was pretty exciting, especially my second ever F2 race. But I think the moment that I'm most proud of is our first feature race win in Monza. We got our first pole at Silverstone, but didn't convert the feature race win. And then Monza, we managed to convert it finally. So, yeah, I think that was my best win of the year.
Now, you mentioned poles. You have an incredible record. 5 consecutive poles, equaling Charles Leclerc from a few years back. Just tell us how you nailed qualifying, because you really did.
To be honest with you, I don't really know. Besides, of course, my secret of gelato,
ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream or sorbet. But yeah, we put a lot of effort into qualifying performance in pre-season testing. and then the in-season test in Barcelona as well. We really worked hard on that, and we actually had 2 very difficult days initially trying to sort that out, which weren't the most fun days, but I think ended up being some of the most important days of our season. So we discovered a lot with that, and then after that, that final day of that test, we found something that worked very well over one lap, and we came out in the next 5 rounds and got pole at all of them. So I don't really know what the secret was. I think the team and I just worked very hard together to find the right setup for one lap pace, and clearly we had it pretty sorted.
So the car really seemed to suit you this year. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think I think the car naturally suited me a bit more, but I think also I think in F3 Prema are such a dominant force that really all I had to do was jump in the car and drive to the best of my ability, and that was it, because the car was there 99.9% of the time, whereas in F2 there was a bit more understanding required and a bit more development, I guess, needed with the car, which for me I think was a benefit because it gave me a goal of what we needed to focus on. And we just tried a lot of setup items, so I knew what worked, what didn't. So then whenever we were in a tough place, which was often practice, we knew how to correct it for qualifying and go out there and do it. So I think the car suited me a bit, but I think I also had a much better understanding this year than I did in F3.
Now, the F2 car suited you. What about the Formula One car? A couple of days ago, you were in the Alpine in Abu Dhabi. And going quickly, very quickly. How much did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, it's an F1 car. It's illegal to not enjoy it. So, it was an awesome day, a lot of laps, so I was pretty tired by the end. But it's like I said, it's an F1 car. It's always amazing. It was, I think it was my 4th or 5th day in an F1 car, so I had some idea of what to expect, but it was my first time in the current car. A few new things that were a bit different from the 2018 car I've driven, but it was awesome. I got up to pace pretty quickly, I think, and we posted some good times at the end of the day as well. So, I left that day with a massive smile, that's for sure.
Well, I think you've had the most amazing year. Let's open this to the floor quickly, and I can see, I think, Joe Saywood from Grand Prix Plus, I think. Go on, Joe.
Oscar, you're an Australian and obviously you haven't been home much. Has that been a problem for you? I mean, when was the last time you went home?
The last time I went home was the end of January this year. So it's been, 11 months basically. I mean, I wouldn't call it a problem, but, I'm certainly, going to enjoy going home. I'm going home next week. So, of course, it's whenever I can get back, I always love to go see my family. I've been based in Europe, in the UK for 5 years now, so it's not something new for me anymore. But I always love going home when I can.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any more from the floor? We'll do one more. Dieter Renken, please. Racing Lines.
Thank you, Tom. Oscar, at one stage it looked as though you may be punished for being too successful, because if you won the championship, you couldn't have done Formula 2 again next year, yet you didn't have a budget in place for Formula 1. How worried were you at one stage that you may actually not be able to progress further?
Well, I mean, I guess that situation has played out. I don't think worried is really the word. Of course, I'm a bit disappointed to not be on the F1 grid next year, because I feel like my results have warranted a spot. And with the way the rules are, I don't have any more single-seater championships or junior single-seater championships to prove myself in. Worried I don't think is the word. I just went out this year and tried to do the best I could, like always. I think, I had a few suggestions of purposely not winning the championship so I could come back next year, but firstly, it's obviously morally a bit incorrect, and motorsport's not cheap, especially in F2, so that was never really a viable solution, but I hope for 2023 I can be on the grid.
We're going to have to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Oscar, good luck with everything. that's coming up next for you. Well done on a fantastic 2021. Our FIA Formula 2 champion, ladies and gentlemen, Oscar Piastri.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Our champions are coming thick and fast now. We're on to the FIA Formula E World Championship. And our world champion, Nick de Vries, is with us. Now, you are the world champion, the first Formula E world champion. How good does that sound?
It sounds pretty good. It's been a little while. Obviously, our season already ended in August. So, we had a bit of time to reflect on it. And actually, our kind of work life in racing continued very quickly because majority of the championships were still continuing. And then everything that has happened in the past weeks. I just feel very very honored and proud to be here, actually, arriving here and seeing what kind of happening it is, and realize again how special and unique it is to be here tonight among everyone.
Tell us a little bit about the championship and how you won it. I mean, let's talk about that race at Valencia, for example.
Our season has been very up and down for everyone, I think. Formula E has had a format which kind of worked well up until this season because the differences between the teams were perhaps still a bit bigger. So it always kind of created interesting racing. But because everyone was so close now, by leading or being in front of the championship, you were highly punished and in a disadvantage because you're always qualifying first and having a kind of dirty track. And that was a kind of cycle that went through the whole season. You were doing well until you were pushed out of Group 1 and then recovering points. And that was a bit of a kind of trend you were seeing. We had a very strong penultimate round in London, which put us back in the lead. And I kind of thought at that point, we were too early. We peaked too early, we came back too early. Berlin was chaotic. I think no one could have, drawn that scenario, in advance. But ultimately, I've been very humble and open about my feelings post the race. But when I look back now, I believe and I can comfortably say that we are the deserved champions, because ultimately the championship is raced over a whole season, and we've been there all the time. We put ourselves in that position, and we also led majority of the championship.
And a quick word on your team. It's amazing how quickly they've got up to speed, isn't it?
It's really a true pleasure to be part of the Mercedes family, but also to race for the EQ team. We are a small kind of entity part of or underneath the Mercedes umbrella, and it's like a little family, and it might sound like I'm making it more romantic than the reality is, but it's not actually the case. It's a great group of people. We've been very committed and strong coming into this, and Mercedes has an incredible history and track record in all series. So I'm extremely proud to represent the brand and to kind of deliver that championship together.
I was going to say, represent and win for the brand. Let's open this to the floor now. I know we've got some questions coming. Yes, please, over there.
Thank you. Nick, congratulations again. Your name was mentioned in F1 circles at some point. How close did you come to join the series, and is Formula One still on your radar somehow?
Well, next season, my program will remain very much the same as the past season. What concerns the future, I obviously don't know. I'm a very realistic person, and I'm very focused on the present. And I also kind of experienced in this world that things change very quickly, and ultimately you're always kind of judged on your performance. So, I'm actually very much looking forward to next season, being able to defend our championships with Mercedes. And I'm certain that, if I continue to do my job well, then new opportunities will come. But where they will be, I don't know. Time will tell, but I am extremely grateful for everything I'm doing at the moment, and I'm actually, really enjoying the combination of Formula E and endurance racing.
Thank you. Next question. Please remember to give your name and publication, please. Next question.
Dieter Renken, Racing Lines. Hi, Nick. Nick, when I spoke to some team principals about possibly putting you into a Formula One seat for next year or the year thereafter, they all said, but he's a Mercedes-Benz contractor driver. Now, you're obviously very proud of your Mercedes-Benz links, and you've just made that clear. But is that possibly an impediment to move up into Formula One?
Sorry, what is the exact question?
Are your links with Mercedes an impediment to move up to Formula One on a full-time basis?
Could it?
Yeah, I understand. Sorry. I don't know. Honestly, there are obviously always a lot of talks in Formula One, and media is very well represented, and there's always a new story. But as I said previously, I think ultimately the only way to continue my career forward successfully is to continue to perform and deliver on track. And regardless of who I'm racing for, that is the most important, and that is the only way for me to secure new opportunities in the future. So I don't think so.
Thanks, Nick. We're going to go to the Zoom now, and we're going to go Matt Q, please. Autosport. Matt.
Hi, Nick. How do you reflect on your overall relationship with Formula E now? When you were testing the Gen 1 development car, it probably wasn't on your radar when you won F2, and now you're champion. It's quite a bizarre journey with the championship.
Yeah, I actually did test the car for, it was probably back early 2014 when Spark was developing the car, but really they just needed someone to do some laps because it was a small battery, and probably no one really felt going to the south or north of France in December and January, 0 degrees, doing some laps. So I think I was just being abused at the time. But I was certainly interested in this new project, and with the kind of direction the whole world is going into, or it already has taken, I'm certain that Formula E has great potential and all the right ingredients to be on the long term very successful and one of the main established championships.
And of course, the recently announced cost cap as well that's going to be implemented for next season. But we've got time for one more question. Sam Smith from The Race, please. Sam.
Yeah, good evening, Nick.
Good evening.
Now you can properly take stock of what you've achieved in 21. Does it make you even more determined to defend the crown in 22? And do you think it will be easier or harder to do?
Winning is, I think, always extremely difficult, no matter where it is or in which championship or category it is. I think I'm slowly now starting to come to the point that I actually, start to reflect on what we've achieved and what we've done. And actually coming here, it has almost helped me, and it kind of makes me more excited and even more motivated to come back with Mercedes in Formula E. Obviously, there will be some sporting changes concerning the qualifying format. So I think generally we will see more consistency in our championship, and hopefully that will contribute to an even more kind of exciting and fair fight for the championship. And I'm certain that together with our team, we will have an extremely strong package, and yeah, we will be doing everything we can to defend our championships.
Well, Nick, best of luck with the coming season. We really do wish it for you. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We're going to have to end it there. So, ladies and gentlemen, FIA Formula E World Champion, Nick de Vries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's now time to talk sports cars, and I'm joined by our WEC Hypercar champions. We have Mike Conway, Kamui Kobayashi, and Jose Maria Lopez. Welcome to all three of you. Many congratulations. Kamui, let's start with you. Do we call you boss now because you are team principal and driver?
Well, today it's still driver, not boss. And I think for sure I would say operation is already starting, but I think the more jobs come next year. But already we are starting in the background. But today I come for driver.
Now look, Mike, why don't I throw this next one to you? It's your second consecutive WEC title. We did this virtually last year. It's great to have you in the room. Just how different was this title compared to last year?
Yeah, as you say, good to be in the room. Last time I was kind of half dressed, the top and then nothing on the bottom. So yeah, full outfit today. No, it feels great to win the championship back to back. You know, each one is just as hard fought as the other, and to get Le Mans as well this year was, you know, really special. Obviously, we've been coming so many times at that one, but to get it done this year felt really good. A bit of a weight lifted off all of us, I think. So we're looking forward to going back there again next year now.
And Jose Maria, the GR10 hypercar, how different is it to drive compared to the LMP1?
Well, the GR10, it is a different car. It's still a lot of fun driving it, and it's been challenging to start from zero again and discover the car, discover the new regulations. So we've been working through the season all the time, quite hard. But yeah, it is nice. Still showing a great potential. If you compare with LMP1, we've been improving every race, and especially in Le Mans, the performance he had in Le Mans was very nice. I mean, if we consider the regulations change, it was a good surprise for us.
Why was it so good at Le Mans?
Well, I mean, it happens a little bit with all the cars.
I thought you were going to say it's the drivers or something.
The cars are born for Le Mans. You can really see the true potential there. But also in this car, if you consider we don't have any aero package, we use the same for all the tracks. So we can change just a little bit. So we basically drive the car in tracks where we need more downforce. We drive the downforce of Le Mans. So in Le Mans is where we really see the performance there.
Kamui, that pole lap at Le Mans, is it more on edge in the hypercar than it was the LMP1?
Well, I think the simulation side, obviously, I think 23 is pretty fast. So we didn't expect to have a 3 minute 23 in my first lap. And actually, my second attempt was, I think, even quicker by a couple of tenths. So I could go, I think, quicker, but just I went offline, over the line, the white line, and I abort the lap. But I think potentially I would say I could have a little bit more lap. So I think a car is made by, especially in Le Mans, not for the rest. But I can confirm that the best feeling on the car with the hypercar, this hypercar was in Le Mans myself.
Mike, you've already said winning Le Mans was great, but what was the overriding emotion as you crossed the line? Because you've come close before. Was it relief or just pure joy?
I didn't cross the line myself. It was Kamui. But even when I was watching on the last lap, I was tearing up, kind of all the emotions, I think, from the last few years just coming out. So, good few tears and hugs with everyone in the team. Me and Jose having a couple of minutes together, trying to compose ourselves. So, it's just that race, isn't it? It's that 24 hours of hard racing and year on year, getting so close, and then finally it comes together. So, nervous moments. I mean, we had our issues too during that race. We had the fuel pump issues, and so the last 7 hours was really tense anyway. So, to add on top of the regular drama, that we get at Le Mans. So, it was great to finally do it.
Do you sleep at Le Mans as a driver?
I struggle, maybe get 45 minutes or something, but it's hard. I find it hard to switch off. You want to listen to your teammates or what's going on.
Kamui, one more from me, and I'm talking to you as the boss now. Sébastien Ogier, the World Rally Champion, tested the car in Bahrain. Are there plans to run a third car at Le Mans, and he will be one of the drivers? Is there a plan for that?
Well, I think at this stage, it's very hard to say, because I think to put third car is a lot of job. And last few years, we are only 2 car deliver for all the races, including WEC and the Le Mans. So which means if we want to put third car, we have to be prepared for all the mechanic, the engineer, even driver side. So I would say it's going to be very hard for 2022, because in terms the timing is a bit short, but can be one of the opportunity maybe 2023. And of course, I think the Sebastian, when he drove in Bahrain, is actually, it's fast. I mean, coming from rally to, kind of asphalt, like sports car, I would say it's quite a big difference, but Sébastien Ogier was driving pretty good from the beginning. So, yes, I think that's can be quite interesting if one day he's gonna race in Le Mans with our car. So I think try to give a bit more opportunity maybe for driving, and let's see if we got third car. Probably yes, I think that can be the opportunity for him.
Okay, exciting times ahead. Do we have any questions from the floor, please? Because we're slightly running out of time. Yes, please. Over here. Dieter Renkin, Racing Lines. I'll deliver the line for you.
Thank you. Kamui, when you were in Formula One, you started tattooing your car numbers on your arm. Have you done that in WEC as well? If not, why not?
With
the tattoo, the car numbers.
Yeah. Well, actually, I stopped it. Because it's people asking, what this number? And I have to explain each time. which is a little bit annoying for me. So it's better to stop it. It's quite a simple answer, but to be honest, if you put number and tattoo under your arm, I mean, in summer you can see quite easy. And each time, first time with someone you met, I had to explain. And really, you take like 10 minutes to explaining. It's a bit of time.
You're the boss now. You know how to explain.
No, I have to explain. I'm nice guys,
Okay, any more? Otherwise, we might have to call it a day. I think we're going to call it a day there. Thank you very much to all three of you. Well done on a super 2021. Our WEC World Champions for you. To Mike, to Kamui, and to Jose, thank you very much indeed. Well done.
Thank you. Cheers.
We're going to swap circuit for special stage now, and we're going to welcome our World Rally Champions to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Sebastian Ogier, Julian Ingracia, and the team principal of Toyota, Jari-Matti Latvala. Well done to all three of you. Another amazing season. Number 8, Seb. How do you rate this one?
The usual question, which is...
Well, it was 7 last time.
Yeah, always hard to answer because, obviously we are delighted to be here tonight. It's been another fantastic season with Julian. The last one, like you know, but I think we would have never dared to dream such a perfect scenario and finish in style with another title. And I think I rate this one. I mean, they are all important in my eyes, but it's been very competitive the last years. Always very intense fights. We can say that over our careers, I had a feeling that it's never get easier to win rally. Probably the opposite. So being able to win 5 races this season and win another title, I think, shown that we kept pushing up to the end with Julian, and age had not so much impact on us yet.
Not yet. But it did go down to the wire this time at Monza. Just tell us a little bit about the intensity of your battle with Elvin Evans.
Yeah, it was pretty intense because up to the last stage of the last rally, the pressure was on. We actually had a very strong start in the season with 4 wins out of the 6 first races. Found ourselves in a, let's say, comfortable lead in a championship. But after that point, I started to, let's say, try to be safe, manage the championship, try to manage the gap. But like I just said, the fact that the fight are so close, so intense, we then didn't quite score the result we wanted on the second half of the season. And Elvin had a very strong last couple of rallies and came back close to us. So yeah, then we had to go to Monza again and try to make the title. And yeah, up to the last stages, we had to stay very focused because a single mistake would have maybe mean that we lose it on the last minute. So I think maybe we've seen the footage. We played a bit with fire as well. We just like had a little moment in the chicane for Monza, but our lucky star were with us, and yeah, we managed to secure the title.
You certainly did. Now, of your 5 wins, can I ask you about the Monty? Your 7th Monte Carlo victory. It was your 50th WRC win at the time. But, stage 6, when you had that puncture, could you feel it slipping away? Because there's amazing footage of that.
Yeah, I mean, Monte is always for me the ultimate challenge in the championship and the one I want to win the most. The one where all rallies have their difficulties, but in Monte there is quite many, and at least I knew that on this rally, that's the gap, the difference can happen. If you make a better tire choice, if you dare to take the risk on some very tricky, icy condition, you can always come back. And yeah, we also managed to win that one, and I mean that's a sentence I say often. If I will win only one in the season, I will pick up that one, because for me Monte Carlo is where my dream for rally started as a kid, and I'm always very proud to win that one.
Well done to you, Julian. Coming to you now, the dream partnership is coming to an end. How will you reflect on your time with this man here?
Wow, can you imagine 15 years of this adventure, starting from where you know and ending up in Monza with this 8th championship title? I would say that I said it recently many times, and I don't say it just because Seb is next to me here again on my left. But really imagine that you drive flat out during 15 years on all the smallest path of the planet, on ice, on gravel, on the mud, in the fog, and he managed to keep the car all the time. We crashed, a few times, but can you imagine in 15 years having this reliability and this performance so high at the same time? For me, it has been a real adventure together. We started from 0. It was a bill of 20 euros on the table to start this adventure, and it's good to think about it and to say, okay, to the youngster, you can do it. You have to believe in it. You have to work, and you can do it. So those 15 years with Seb has been something in a lifetime that obviously none of us will never forget. Like Seb said, we never gave up at any point, even though we were older, even though the competition was harder and harder, even though we changed many times, swapped many times from a team to the other. We always put the maximum of energy, concentration, and will of victory.
Julian, if there's one ingredient that has made the partnership so successful, what would you say it is?
I think we had, since the very beginning, since the very first moment we met, we had the same target in mind, to give the best and not to think it was a joke or just an amusement or something like this. I think I've been immediately in this same level of we want to perform, we want to win, and we put everything together from his side, from my side, and then you need to work together. For sure, it's not easy every day. when you spend most of your years during 15 years in less than 2 square meters, launch at almost 200 kph in the middle of the trees. But we did it, so I think this is the main ingredient. Yep.
Well done. Thank you. Now, Jari-Matti, can we come to you? I still think of you as a driver. I'm struggling to come to terms with calling you the boss. But you are the boss. You are the team principal. How do you sum up the season?
It's been an incredible season. You know, we've been winning 9 rallies out of 12. My first year as a team principal, I would never imagine such a performance. And it's been also at the same time, it's been very interesting for me to see how our world champions, Sebastian and Julian, how they've been working, even though I was teammates with them in Volkswagen. But yeah, we've been working with the different eyes now, looking them the work. And it's been incredible to see the passion and the commitment and the desire to win. They had done everything for that to win.
Do you understand now why they've had the success they have?
Yes, I understand much better, because myself, I tried to reach that goal to be, getting a title. I could only manage second and third, and I could never win it. But those little things in the puzzle were missing, and now finally I understand that the things what I did wrong. But it's with these guys, what I say is this is incredible that you win the championship, but you still have that motivation to do everything to win again, and win again. That is something which is, I don't know where you can get that passion for winning. I have big passion for winning, but they have even more.
Seb, where does this passion for winning come from?
Maybe having so much hate to lose, basically, and then try to don't be in this situation. And I've always been very competitive my whole life, pretty different sports as a kid already, and up to the day I get the opportunity to go in motorsport, which was always my dream. And luckily for me, it was also the sport where I performed the best. So yeah, I had pretty good years now, the last 15 years with Julian, or even 16 seasons we had together.
You've had an amazing run. Jari-Matti, I just wanted to come back to you. Tell us a little bit about the car. You've wrestled the championship back from Hyundai. What are the main strengths?
I think if we think about overall the season, we didn't have, in fact, we didn't have that many technical failures. Okay, if we had something, very often we managed to get the car back and then fix it, and we didn't retire. I think this was one of the strengths. And also, okay, I have to say thanks to the drivers. They were very, very consistent during the season. But I think it's difficult to say even only one topic. But for me, it was more I would say our strength in season was the reliability, that we could finish the races. And of course, the important events, we were having the performance, what was needed to win.
And how have you found the step into management? What's been the most challenging aspect? Don't tell me, managing drivers.
Actually, managing drivers has been easy, because when I came to the boss and we had the first discussion with Seb, I said, I can't say anything to you. You know how to win the championship. I can't tell you how to win the championship. But basically the most challenging part for me is actually managing people, because as a driver, you only focus your job to do it as well as you can. But at the end of the day, now as a team principal, I can't affect for how these guys perform on the stages. I can only make sure that everybody in the team gives the 100% and does their work as well as they can, and then that drivers go with the smile in the car. Only that gives us the confidence that the drivers can perform on the top level and then to win the races.
Now, Seb, can we come back to you? What does the future hold?
Who knows? At least it was a wish of mine to slow down a little bit. Not necessarily when I'm going to be in a racing car again, but with the schedule and the intensity of my life, I wanted to put a bit more focus on my family and my little boy and try to spend more time with him. And also I felt that after 16 years being involved 200% and completely committed to it, my level of my tank of energy was getting a bit empty, and I needed at least a break to see or enjoy being a bit more away from motorsport and racing, and see if maybe the motivation is coming stronger again. But for now, I have the chance to remain with Toyota Gazoo Racing, which is, I guess, the best place for me to be at the moment, competing some more rallies next year, and also probably doing some more tests with the Le Mans car, because it's also one of my dream and target to try to go circuit racing. I think I heard before you were talking about my first test.
I was working hard for you.
No, it
He's
was
keen,
a great opportunity to discover that world. It went okay, I would say, but now I know that, I was always aware that it's very different sport somehow, and that I have a lot of things to learn, but that a challenge will motivate me. So for the next months, probably, the plan is to make some more tests, maybe some races in the second category. I don't know. It's no clear plan right now, but the passion for racing is still there. So of course, right now I want to have a bit more time for me next year, but in the same time trying to preparing maybe some new challenge.
You said you might do some rallies. Have you pinpointed which ones they'll be?
I think Yari would love to know that. I read recently that he's making his guessing there and there. But the truth is, so far only Monte Carlo is fixed in the calendar. That's the first one, end of January, like always.
Can I interrupt you? If you win the Monte, if you win it, will you be tempted to do a full program and keep going in pursuit of another world title?
No, for sure not. That won't happen. After Monte, the chance that I don't do rally for a while is big, I would say, because even right now, I say that I needed this break, and now it felt like actually I didn't have any, because I'm straight away now in the preparation of Monte Carlo again. But after Monte, I want to take this time I need for me and with my wife, which is here, and with my little boy, and then we'll see what comes next.
And who is going to be sat alongside you? Or is Julian going to do the Monte with?
No. Julian won't be on my side in Monte. I'll have Benjamin Veillas, so it's another French co-driver, which have been on my side already for a while during testing, so we know each other, and we hope it will work. And I know it's going to be a big challenge being without Julian, but he decided to leave me now, so which I also understand. After all these years, and we'll see how it works. I anyway said to Julian when we crossed the line in Monza that he still have to keep his phone open just in case I really miss him too much.
Julian, what's next for you?
Well, I have some ideas. I don't have the plans on the papers, but having all those years of experience in this field in the WRC, I would like to, and I like it to transmit the experience to. It can be in many levels. It can be at the sail of a crew, of a team, a rally organizer, or federation. So I would like to have a kind of some missions in this field to give back all this experience that I learned all those years. And by my side, I will take some time also to get some skills for my personal life that I will use in the future.
Well, enjoy that very much. Let's open this to the floor now. Do we have any questions? Yes, please.
Raphaël Pelletier, Agence France Presse. Julien, you've tested the 2022 rally car. How was it like?
Seb, yeah. I didn't know Julian tested it.
World exclusive.
Yeah, well, it's been exciting to test it. How do I start? Yeah, obviously very different. Like, new technology coming in with the hybrid. And I think right now the team have a big challenge to try to be ready for Monte Carlo. I think probably Monte Carlo will be more challenging, or more, how you say, we have a lot of, not so much guarantee going into this rally. So I think it's very, very open. I will be part of this event, but maybe not so many after that one. So yeah, I can say right now as a driver, you always want maximum performance. So of course, the car we've been driving the last year were amazing and were definitely the fastest one. And now it's kind of a step back a little bit in terms of performance, but I guess maybe not for long, because I'm sure the team working very hard for developing these new cars. And I think it's an important turn anyway for the sport to go hybrid and to follow our society, let's say. So it will be interesting to see which team have done the best job in January.
Let's go to the video conference next, and Autosport, please. Tom Howard. Tom.
Hi there. Just a question for Jari. Seb there mentioned just how tough, big a challenge this is to get ready for Monty. Just where are you at with that challenge? I know you've been testing this week. Just do you feel like you're going to be ready for Monty?
Yeah, obviously it's been a very important week for us, and of course the Seb comments were now really important. He has quite a huge experience of different cars, and now when he was testing for the first time, so I think overall I'm happy where we are. Of course, it's not. Let's say we can't relax at all. It's 100%. We are working all the time to get everything ready, but car is working, and we are reasonably happy with the performance level where we are. But of course, the most exciting thing is to go to Monte when you don't know how is the level of the others.
Not long to wait, hey? We're going to have to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. We are out of time. So once again, huge congratulations to our World Rally Champions. Welcome back to our Champions press conference, and we're now going to talk about the FIA Formula One World Championship. And to kick things off, we have our new world champion with us now, ladies and gentlemen, Max Verstappen. What an incredible season. Huge congratulations. I know you've had a lot of that this week, but first of all, when I say Max Verstappen world champion, how good does that sound?
I mean, of course, it sounds very good, but it's more for me the journey towards this championship, where, especially when you achieve it, you start thinking about all the hours and the years leading up to it, and that was for me more emotional than, of course, hearing world champion. But yeah, of course, it's amazing that we achieved this, and it's been a very long and tough season,
and quite a long and tough week.
Yeah, I need some sleep.
Seriously, Max, just tell us what you've done since clinching the championship on Sunday.
Well, I mean, I had one drink on Sunday night. One too many, probably.
Yes, one big one.
Yeah, so, and then I thought, actually, I woke up probably in the afternoon at 1 or 2 o'clock on Monday thinking I had a free day, but then I realized I actually didn't have a free day, so I had another 4 hours of filming or something like that. So I was still.
Can I interrupt you? When you woke up on Monday,
I had a massive headache.
But was the first words that came into your mind, were they, "I am world champion"? Is that when the penny really started to drop?
No, it was probably a swear word when I woke up. Yeah, just because of the headache. But. Yeah, no, it's been good, of course, and I've been really enjoying it so far, but I also really need a break because it wasn't easy. I always needed to try to be perfect the whole year. I think once you then finish the last race, everything came out. It's also my body, when I was driving on Tuesday, wasn't particularly great. It was hurting quite a bit. So also because of the cramp from the last lap. Which, of course, I didn't get treated on because everyone was jumping around, and probably also my hydration levels weren't great even on Tuesday. But yeah, no, it's been very good.
And then, of course, you were with the team in the UK yesterday. Just how was it being back with the guys and girls who sort of helped you get where you got?
It's been our goal since I joined the team, and then once you finally pull it off. It was really nice to see all the happy faces, in the whole factory basically, and then also the speech and the clip of the season. I mean, it's just amazing. I really try to enjoy the moment, because how many times will you have that moment? I don't know. I hope, of course, many times, but for now, it has been great.
Does it feel like family? Because you've been there, 6 years now? That's a quarter of your life.
Yeah, yeah. It does feel like that, because I think you heard on my radio as well after on the in-lap, asking if I could stay for another 10, 15 years. So I am very happy where I am, and also just I can be myself, and that I think is also really important. And it's not only about just purely Formula One. We can have fun, we can have a good laugh, and I think that's also important, because it's not only about performance, also you need to enjoy what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Can we look at the season now as a whole? And let's take it back to the start. Testing went well. How confident were you coming into 2021?
I always stayed very, very neutral, because you don't know what the others are doing or how much they're hiding. But I think what was the positive was that I felt I had a good balance in the car, and I was feeling very comfortable with the car. And then of course, in the first race weekend it really looked good. But again, I was like, well, maybe it's just a track. Can be, because throughout the season you have a few tracks where the car can be a bit better than others. So yeah, I think what was very important from that point onwards was just to be neutral, not be too positive, too negative. Always stay in the middle.
And then at which point in the year did you start to really believe that you could do it?
Well, it's difficult as well, because I've been in the lead, then back to second, been in the lead. So there was never a point where I thought, okay, we got it in the bag, because every race was like, I could either win or be second, so, and it was all about, the attention of details where you could make the difference in terms of winning or being second.
And isn't it crazy to think that after 6,500 kilometers of racing, it came down to those last 5Ks on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, you cannot ride it any better, for sure. So it was pretty insane.
Cool. Now, look, Max, there are going to be more questions for you in a moment, but could I please invite Red Bull Racing team principal Christian Horner onto the stage now? Very sadly, we're not being joined by Toto Wolff or Lewis Hamilton today, and Valtteri Bottas was due to be with us, but he's been in Hinwil and his flight has been delayed. So it's great to have you with. Christian, thank you for joining us. Just tell us how good this man has been this year.
Well, firstly, obviously great to be here. I mean, you obviously forgot the memo on the suit by the looks of things, but it's been an incredible year, and when you look back at the season as a whole, 22 races, I think the biggest season Formula One has ever had, and from the first race in Bahrain, it's been so competitive. There's been on average probably 0.1, 0.2 of a second between the two drivers throughout the season, and I think that the way that Max has driven throughout the year, and what's really stood out for me is in moments of adversity, where he's just kept his head down, he's kept believing, he's kept pushing, he's kept driving the team forward, and we've known every time he's got in the car, he's given it 110%, and that lifts everybody around them. And particularly the second half of the year when we didn't have the fastest package, he kept us in this championship. He kept fighting, he kept believing, and it's just been the most unbelievable year. And we're incredibly proud of everything that he's done this year, and totally deserving of this World Championship.
Has he reached new heights this year? Is he a better racing driver than he was a year ago?
Well, I think we've just given him a better car, and he's made great use of it. And he's finished every race either first or second, bar one where he had half his car missing in Budapest. The statistics talk for themselves. The amount of laps that he's led, the pole positions, the race victories. He's been outstanding, and so few mistakes under massive pressure. And I think that's what you forget is the amount of pressure that there's been building and building through this championship, and the way as a young man that he's dealt with and coped with that has been inspirational.
What were the key moments in this championship?
There's been some big moments. It was important to get those victories, to get the run of results. I mean, then there was the moments like Azerbaijan, that we had to come back from, and it was important to come back strong, and Max did that. And I think Silverstone was a key moment. And again, how you come back from that. And I think for me, in the latter part of the championship, particularly Austin, where we were certainly the underdog on that day, but he delivered a victory that was just truly outstanding.
Max, coming back to you, how will becoming world champion change you?
Well, I said already during the season that it doesn't matter for me if I'm first or second. It will not change my life, and it also doesn't. I mean, it has been my life goal to become a champion, and now that I've done that, of course, I'm incredibly happy. But I'm the same guy. I have the same friends. I spend the same amount of time with family. Still live in the same place. And nothing is going to change. But in a way, of course, in the back of my mind, it's just even more relaxing knowing that I've achieved everything in Formula One now, and everything that comes next is just a bonus.
But do you view life differently? Is the view from the summit different? You've reached the summit.
Well, it's still the same color, isn't it? Yeah. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't change anything.
Okay. What about as a driver? Do you think it'll help you in that way?
Time will tell. I mean, I cannot really say right now, but I just have to keep on doing what I have been doing. And of course, I always try to improve, and that's what I will try to do again next year as well.
Christian gave us his key moments of the season. Can we get yours as well?
Yeah. I think it's pretty much the same. I mean, headbutting the tire wall in Silverstone wasn't that great, but these were at the end of the day key moments. Otherwise, I think it would have been, of course, decided a lot earlier. But especially towards the end of the season, getting a few wins where we didn't expect it, or a pole position where we didn't expect it, all these kind of things, or even a fastest lap. It is an extra point. So these things actually do matter nowadays when you have a championship fight like we had. So pretty much the same race weekends. Even though also like the fastest lap in Qatar, when we were clearly also the slower, still went for that fast lap.
Let's open this to the floor now. I'm sure we've got plenty of questions. Please remember to give your name and publication. Who's going to start, please?
Hi, Silja Rulle for Bild. My question is to Max. First of all, congratulations. Do you feel sorry for Lewis for the way he lost his championship?
No, I don't feel sorry, but I can understand, of course, that it can be very painful. But at the end of the day, that's racing as well. You have to just keep fighting till the end, and you know that in racing anything can happen. And I mean, he also won a championship like that. So I think he can understand as well.
Thank you. Next one.
Fred Ferrer, l'équipe. Question to Max. Have you been bothered by the threat of Mercedes since Sunday to get an appeal?
Not really. I mean, we were having a really good time as a team as well, because we knew that we won it on track when there was a green light or a green flag, so nobody could ever take that away from us. I was in a good mood.
Christian, can we get your thoughts on that?
On what, sorry?
Just the threat of Mercedes appealing since Sunday.
We didn't really feel that there was the grounds for a threat. We obviously were in front of the stewards for quite a while, and obviously there was a great deal of discussion over what happened. But safety cars are usual in Formula One, and we've seen it in throughout this season. We've seen and obviously the determination of the race director is always to get the race going again, and that's been a clear mandate. For many years now. So a lot was made of it, but that's the way it is. I mean, we've had so many decisions go against us. Earlier in the race, we felt some of those decisions in Saudi had gone against us. We felt that we'd had bad luck. For example, in Imola, Lewis is in the gravel trap out the race, a lap down, and his teammate crashes with a Williams. And he gets the lap back, and he's second on the grid, and he finishes second. The crash at Silverstone, a red flag. He gets a penalty, but he still wins the race with the fastest lap. So, we felt that many things have gone against us this year, but, things have a habit of working themselves out and balancing themselves over the course of the year. And I think I said on the commentary on the pit wall that, the championship looked like it was gone. Lewis and Mercedes had the quicker package, in Abu Dhabi, and I said it's going to take something from the racing gods, and I'm quite pleased I've got a direct line now. Obviously, if we're not talking to Michael in future, maybe I'll keep using that line.
Thank you. Next one, please.
Lawrence Edmondson, ESPN. Question for Max. We talked to Soto today, and he said that Lewis is quite disillusioned by what happened, and he couldn't guarantee that Lewis would come back to race next year. So can you understand Lewis's position, and how bad would it be for Formula One if Lewis didn't come back after the great battle you two guys had this year?
Well, I mean, of course, I can understand that the first few days after a race like that, you're not happy. But you should also understand, like I said before, this is racing at the end of the day, and these things can happen to you. And I think he should just look back at what he has achieved already. That should give him a lot of comfort, and should also be that drive to just keep on going, because he is still, trying to challenge for that A title, and for sure he can do that again next year. So I don't see any reason why, to give up or stop now.
Thanks, Max.
Masahiro Wari. I'd like to say congratulations on behalf of all Japanese people. And I haven't seen the driver who had a such a good relationship with Honda. So how could you build a good relationship with Honda? And the second question is, after the podium ceremony, Tanabe-san and all Honda people are crying and hugging each other. Could you please give any comment for them?
Well, I think I can answer these two things in one go because I think the relationship and it's been amazing. Also, where they come from, and then starting with us, we really believed in the project and we really wanted to succeed together and be successful. And we were already very emotional when we had our first win together, and it only got better from there. Just because also they never gave up; they always kept pushing and believing that they could do it. And over time, you could really see that progress. And also, what I thought was very impressive already that they had an engine designed for 2022, and they're like, well, let's bring it 1 year forward. That's quite impressive to do so. And it really, it really helped us forward. If we didn't have that engine as well, we wouldn't be sitting here today. And everyone within Honda, they're very passionate and very emotional as well. So I can fully understand that. After the race, they were hugging each other and crying because they're already crying at our first race win. So it has been really amazing to be able to work with them.
Christian, is the relationship with Honda the best the team has had with any manufacturer in Formula One?
Yeah, absolutely. The passion, the commitment, just the work ethic of Honda. When they came back into the sport, they had a hard time. They kept their heads down. They worked hard at it. From day one of this relationship with them, it's been phenomenal. And you just see, through their culture, the work ethic that they have. This engine for this year was brought forward 12 months. And, were it not for the incident at Silverstone, Max would have done the entire season on 3 engines. And, it's a great shame that Honda are leaving Formula One officially at the end of this season. And so, of course, the first World Championship for them in 30 years, the first Drivers' World Championship since Ayrton Senna in 1991 is an enormous, moment for them. And Tanabe-san was there 30 years ago to witness that. He looks remarkably similar 30 years later, and he's the type of guy that we haven't seen smile in 3 years. But removing his mask on Sunday, there was the biggest smile from ear to ear, and we're tremendously proud of what we've achieved with Honda. We're tremendously grateful for everything that they've provided and given us. And we now look forward to a future without Honda officially, but still maintaining a relationship with them over the next few years.
Max has spoken about the intensity of this battle for him. How draining has it been for you? Because while we've had everything going on in 2021, you've also been looking ahead with Red Bull powertrains. Has this been your hardest season in Formula One?
Oh, it's been up there. It's certainly been pretty intense from the beginning of the year when we were discussing about the engine freeze or not, and that was imperative to our strategy with the engines and whether we could agree and make an agreement with Honda. That obviously went through during February. And then creating an engine department and engine facility, has been very, very busy behind the scene, bringing some great talent into Red Bull Racing. It's a tremendously exciting period for us as, we grow from being just a chassis manufacturer to having engines, designed and produced on site. So, a lot going on behind the scenes this year. And of course, a lot of on-track, action. And, I've had a busy year, I think.
I think you have. Let's go back to the floor. Next question, please.
Julien Billiot at Hebdo. First of all, many congratulations to both gentlemen. A couple of questions. Max, you keep repeating that you have achieved your target in Formula One, but surely this title has made you hungry for more. How hungry? And to Christian, how does this title compare to the 4 you had with Seb?
First I'll have a bit of sleep the coming days and weeks, and then I'm sure that once it turns the 1st of January, I'm I'm ready to go again, because of course I love what I'm doing and I love being part of the team. So I already said it on the radio in the in-lap, I want to do this with this team for another 10, 15 years. So hopefully within those years, of course, we can win more championships, because that's always been the goal.
Sorry, what was the question for me?
How does this championship compare to the ones with Seb? Yeah.
I mean, it's always difficult to make comparisons, but I think the first title was very special, but this feels because that was against the odds as well, and I think that this one feels equally as special as that very first title, and I think the intensity and the competitiveness of this one has been insane, and I think the fact that it's against the quality of opposition that we've had, in both Lewis and the Mercedes team, has stretched us to probably beyond what we even thought we were capable of. And I think that's what makes it even more rewarding, that during the hybrid era, Mercedes have been all dominant. They've annihilated the opposition. And finally, we've managed to produce a competitive car, and Max has grabbed it with both hands. And to manage to come out on top with the biggest title on offering in motorsport is a tremendously proud moment for us, and obviously we're tremendously proud of what Max has achieved.
Thank you. Next, please.
Dieter Renken, Racing Lines. Christian, based on what you just said, obviously at the beginning of the year you had two objectives. One was the Drivers' Championship and the other was the Constructors' Championship. You achieved the one, which is probably going to cost you money, but you didn't achieve the other, which doesn't get you as much money as you would have liked. Could you just run us through how important the Constructors' Championship is to the team overall as opposed to the drivers?
Well, the Constructors is where the money is. That is where the revenues that come into the sport are distributed based on your performance in the championship. And I think every employee within our team, probably in most of the teams, is rewarded on where they are in the Constructors' Championship as opposed to the drivers. Now, the drivers obviously has the popularity and it has the prestige. And I don't think there's a single employee within our business that would have traded a first place in the Constructors for this Drivers' Championship. Everybody, and when you see the reaction that Max had when he visited the factory yesterday, is so proud of what he's achieved. And I think that, of course, the Constructors has huge importance to it because of that revenue distribution. We're talking millions and millions of dollars in difference between a first and a second place, for example. But the prestige of the Drivers' World Championship, that's the big one. That's the one that you really want. And that's why it meant so much achieving that on Sunday evening.
Thank you. I believe we have one more question from the floor in here. Yes, off you go.
Pierre Gabas from Associated Press. It's for Christian. I just would like to know how many times do you expect to keep Max in your team?
Well, he said for 15 years, so I have the paperwork with me tonight, and it should be very straightforward. But look, it's relationships, I think, are not about contracts. It is exactly about relationships. And Max, he came into the team as almost a boy, and he's grown into a young man, and he's grown with the team. And I think that the relationship that we share, the trust that we share in each other, is worth more than any piece of paper. And I think that I look forward to racing with Max for many years to come, and I believe that the best years are very much still to come.
Thank you. We're going to go to the Zoom now, the video conference. And Christian Nimmervoll, please, motorsport.com, you're first.
Thank you, Tom. Question is to Max. First of all, congratulations. It must have been nerve-wracking to wait first for the verdict at Abu Dhabi, and then for Mercedes to withdraw their appeal. Can you let us know who told you first at Abu Dhabi and then this morning about the decisions? And also, can you let us know about your feelings when you didn't yet know this would turn out good for you?
It was more in Abu Dhabi. I mean, there were two protests coming against us, but it was a little bit of a longer way. But I mean, nevertheless, we were still celebrating. And then once, of course, there was the all clear on that night, we had another celebration. So we basically had the double celebration. And since then, I haven't really thought about it too much. And then, of course, this morning, yeah, when I heard the news, I was happy about it, but I also expected it.
Thank you. John Noble, please. Autosport, you're next.
Thank you. Question for both Christian and Max. Obviously, you got the result you wanted on Sunday, and it comes at the end of a brilliant campaign. But I just wondered if there's any slight annoyance that this week, that should have been a week of celebration, has been overshadowed by kind of controversy, and even the FIA admitting the image of F1 has been tarnished by the events and something that you were not involved in at all.
Who'd like to start?
I'll start on that one. I mean, Johnny, you've been around a long time, and you know that people in this business have very short memories. I mean, we've even forgot what's happened earlier this year. It's been such a long racing season. I think that Max is absolutely the deserving world champion when you look at the championship as a whole. And I think that, of course, the events on Sunday have drawn an awful lot of comment. But that happens. It happens in sport, and I think that. We've had a lot of bad luck this year. We got fortunate with a safety car. We made the right strategic calls. We won the race, and great strategy, great teamwork, great execution by Max. And time will move on. And Max is a very, very deserving world champion, and we're incredibly proud of that. And the history books will always show that he's the 2021 world champion.
Max, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, same for me. I mean, even, with championships which have been won like 30 years ago, whatever, has also been sometimes a bit controversial. But nowadays, I guess people, when they look back at footages like that, they actually enjoy it. So it's just part of the sport.
Thank you. Let's go to RTL Netherlands next, please. Martin Schmeers.
Yes, good evening. Congratulations to both. I have a question for Max. Max, at some point in the season, you have been unhappy with the regulations. After the race in Saudi Arabia, you even said this is not Formula One. Now, today it has been announced that the FIA will install a commission to improve the rules. What should change in the rules according to you?
Well, I was sometimes not agreeing to what happened in the race, but I think that's quite normal, right? You even have that in your relationship. Sometimes you don't agree with things. So, I always, throughout the whole year, maybe it didn't look like it, but I always had a very good relationship with the stewards. And, when we were in there, sometimes, it's a tough call. I mean, I also in 2019 kind of got invited to spend 2 days with the FIA. And spend a bit of time with the stewards as well. And sometimes also for them it's very hard to make decisions, and they have to follow the rules. So yeah, I think it's good at least that you can talk about it. And as a driver, when I look at myself, I also look at every single year, what can I do better? And I think everyone should be like that every single year. To look into the year after and say what can we do better. And yeah, like I said, that goes for everyone.
Thank you, Max. Now, next, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite the FIA President, Jean Todt, onto the stage, just to get his thoughts. Jean, very warm welcome. Lovely to have you with us. Hi, Jean. Now, Jean, Max Verstappen, FIA Formula One world champion. Just give us your thoughts.
Can you repeat the question?
Just give us your thoughts on the job that Max has done this year.
I think he gets what he deserves. He made a great season. I mean, it's human. You focus on the last lap. It is true that he was very lucky in the last lap, but you should see the whole season. Was he lucky in Silverstone? Was he lucky in Azerbaijan? Was he lucky in Budapest? He was not. So at the end of the day, all season, and of course, last race, same number of points, you will have had another expectation. But, I read always the script. I mean, very often Max says, it is what it is. I would say, I will take it is what it is.
Indeed. Now, does he...
and then, because I just, the reason is, and he's right by saying that, You know, I think it's in my home, it's something I mentioned. I have two lines. It's only the mediocres have raised their maximum. And the other one, I mean, the maximum of pride is humility. So let's take the first one. Of course, we can always improve. You know, I was just, but then you need to behave as well. You know, I was reading today in the French sport magazine, L'Équipe, the president of the Lyon Football Club, which is one of the most important teams. I mean, he has been forbidden for 10 games because he spoke badly about the referee. So maybe we have been too permissive, you know? And on one side, I feel it is important to have a dialogue between the governing body, between the teams, between the drivers, between the commercial right holders. But it should not go against us, you know. So clearly, and incidentally, I was watching the race because I'm in a part, tomorrow I leave this position. But I still love Formula One. I will still watch the Grand Prix. And in a way, it's human behavior. And you see Max, after the first corner, when Lewis took him on the right side, and he said, Levy, I'm persecuted. And I mean, believe he's not, nobody is. You know, but it's perception. And so in the heat of the action, I mean, you have your own feelings. On the other side, you have the race director, you have the steward, you have a lot of organization. And are we perfect? We are not perfect. And incidentally, that's why I've suggested to have a full review to see what needs to be improved at the light of what has happened, but not only at this race, what has happened over the year. And should we refuse if we can improve? We should. You know, so, I mean, we need to be perfectionists. And in a way, Formula One is the result of perfection, you know. A great driver is not enough. A great car is not enough. So all has to be combined to be successful.
But Jean, just as a driver, how impressed have you been by Max this year? Does he remind you of a young Michael Schumacher?
You know, I think each champion at this level has his own personality. So, I mean, I would say Max is Max, Michael is Michael, and each one, and then when I'm told with a bad driver, it's a combination. It's a combination, but clearly we have to admire and to congratulate what has happened this year. And on one side, you have the best team has been Mercedes, and the best driver is Max.
Okay. Now, thank you for that, Jean. Let's open this up to the floor again, please. We have a question at the front.
Thank you. Jean, one of the big talking points this week has been Mercedes' can I call it, protest against the result, and also their subsequent refusal to participate in photo shoots. There's no Toto, there's no Lewis. How do you see that? Did that contribute to the decision for a review?
You know, I think tonight we should celebrate, you know, rather than trying to get into any kind of controversy. And it's no point. What will it give? You know, I think in a way I feel sorry because Mercedes should have much more reward. 8-time world champion for the manufacturer is unique. And then, I mean, this young guy has made an outstanding job. That's what we should, rather than saying, are we going to punish because he's not coming, or he said that. Honestly, I don't think that's the platform to speak about that. We should be above that. And incidentally, you know, maybe a more general view. I have had quite an interesting career, you know, and I've been spending 12 years as president of the FIA. It's a lot of, and then people ask me, I mean, what is your feeling? And I'm very sincere. I say 70% I'm happy to leave. And among the 70%, it's because of things like that. And 30%, I have some nostalgia because I think we've been doing, you know, I think when we speak about the improvement on safety, when you think about the low-cost helmet for developing country where each driver has been dedicated one below $20 helmet which can save life. When I think about Grosjean being in life, in a way Lewis being in life, that's what does matter. Rather than knowing what will happen with we will miss him, definitely. I mean, Lewis is an outstanding champion. He never makes a mistake. He has been an amazing combination, probably best car, best team, and he never does a mistake. This time, simply, he won 10 Grand Prix, and we should find that remarkable.
Thank you, Jean. More questions, please. Yes, this side of the room over here.
Question to Jean Todt. After the race, Yamamoto-san, head of the Honda team, many thanks to Jean Todt and FIA, because you and FIA gave to Honda many supporting. But end of this year, so Honda is leaving Formula One. How do you think about that? And do you expect Honda will return one day, 1 year, one day?
Thank you. Jean, did you catch that? Just your thoughts on what Honda have achieved in Formula One, the fact that they're leaving, and do you think they might return to Formula One one day?
So, I mean, to the last question, I have no idea. But, I mean, in a way, I was surprised that Honda, when they joined, I felt it was great for the sport. And I was not expecting that it will take so much time for them to win. Because, I mean, Honda, I mean, it's a reference in powertrain. You know, I remember, again, talking about the McLaren Honda, I mean, all what they won. So, I mean, Honda is a great company. I'm sorry that they leave, you know, because clearly I really feel the rationale to have them on board, but I mean, the decision, will they change the decision? I'm not the one to ask that.
Okay, thank you. Any more? Otherwise, we are, as ever, significantly out.
I think, Tom, I'd just like to add, because it is, you know, drawing to a close, the presidency of Mr. Todd. And I think, you know, in front of everybody, I would just like to thank you for the last 12 years that you've given. We've pushed you hard, but you've always kept a balance and a fairness. And I think many drivers, I remember all the discussions about the halo. Not one team wanted the halo, but you pushed for it. And, you know, many drivers owe you their lives today, not just in Formula One, but outside in Formula One. So I think, you know, I'd like to recognize what you've done for the sport this evening, to say thank you. I think on behalf of all of the teams, for everything that you've done and whatever you choose to do next. I hope you're not making a comeback. But, you know, we wish you the very, very best of luck for the future.
Thank you.
Well, Jean, it is your final prize giving with the FIA, so I feel it's only apt that we leave the floor to you now to say the final words.
I mean, I'm happy to, I mean, I could not have better company, so I'm, you know, I love motor racing. In a way, I've been blessed because I started my career as a rally co-driver. Probably I wanted to achieve what Max has achieved, but I mean, things went differently. I became head of a racing department, starting with rallying, and I think we wrote a part of the story of rallying with the 205 Turbo 16. Then we went to cross country, where I don't think we lost one of a cross country event. We did participate. After we went to sports car, which was different for us, and I mean we won in 92, 93, 93. I had one unexpected offer to join Ferrari. It took time. I mean, yesterday we were talking with Stefano. We lost 5 championships, myself as a team, but we lost 5 championships at the last race. Stefano lost 7. You know, so that's. I mean, it was tough. That's why, you know, I do respect the pain, the belief. And I mean, the pain, it's a real word. I mean, doing this job, it's painful. I mean, you get a reward, you are well paid, incidentally. The reason why I've been then elected president of the FIA behind that, because I got so much out of what I did that I could afford to stop being paid, because what I do since 12 years is as a volunteer. And I thought, for me, it was the best way to give something back, because I think in the life you have the duty. And you know, Max was mentioning when he spent 2 days. I think it's right. They should do more, you know. And incidentally, it's just a story. Sebastian Vettel, one time, I think he was penalized for some. And people suggested to me, maybe we should ask him to do some road safety program. I say, no, why? It's a privilege. It's not a punition, you know. So I think if you get something in your life, you must give something back. So that's why I went for FIA presidency. I won, and then I really wanted to deliver and to do something. And you know, I just saw my friend Gérard Saillant outside. Together we founded a medical institute, which is in Paris, with 700 research people for brain and spinal cord. I've been honored to be appointed by Ban Ki-moon, and subsequently by Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of United Nations, as a special envoy for road safety. And I will keep this endeavor, at least for the next 2 years. I'm with my wife, who maybe you remember, she played a role, a movie called The Lady with Luc Besson, about the life of Aung San Suu Kyi, and she got to have the privilege to get to know Aung San Suu Kyi. And I'm chairing a foundation in Myanmar. So it's a lot of other things where I have interest. Nothing, motor racing I love. I will still watch the race, enjoy the race. I hope that the sport will evolve properly. And what we said, that I mean, we need to learn out of it. We need to make strong regulations. We need to speak about safety as much as we can, because we never do enough, you know. And then I may be involved in some other engagement. Time will tell.
And Jean, of all of your achievements at the FIA, what are you most proud of?
I mean, proud? Nothing. I mean, I'm very happy. I was mentioning that to Dieter. I mean, we have a great team in administration. And I mean, I've enjoyed a lot of elected people around me. So this part, I mean, you know, really socializing with a complex organization represented in more than 150 countries. has been interesting. I think altogether we have put the FIA at a very respectable level. You know, in a way, I was quite flattered last week to get a letter from my good friend Thomas Bach, the president of the Olympic Committee, appointing me with the Olympic order. So, I mean, we think that at least people do realize. I mean, the high-level panel for road safety, which we made, you know, with a combination of UN leader, private sector leader, a big organization to give visibility to this pandemic. And I mean, again, if I make a comparison, and it's something I mentioned to them because we don't always agree. You know, I say, guys, open your eyes. You are in a kind of golden gate, which is amazing because it's such the research of perfection. But still, we should not forget people who are dying because they don't have food, because they cannot be healed. So it's a lot of things, and in a way, that's probably what has made me the most happy, is to be able to face this summit and poverty, and then to realize how blessed we all are, and that's something we should realize. And as we are blessed, we must realize it and give something back.
Thank you, Jean, and many congratulations on a hugely successful presidency. Jean Todt, and the FIA prize giving is getting underway next door, so very sadly we're going to have to call an end to this press conference. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, huge congratulations to the 2021 FIA Formula One World Champion, Max Verstappen. Well done, mate. Thank you.